From the moment Jaguar Wright opened her mouth and let those explosive words slip into the universe, the entire celebrity world froze, because nobody, and I mean nobody, expected her to drag Claressa Shields into the crossfire. And absolutely no one expected Papoose to react the way he just did. What started as a single, reckless claim has now spiraled into one of the most chaotic, emotionally charged scandals this year, leaving fans, insiders, and even longtime industry veterans stunned, speechless, and scrambling for answers. Because according to Jaguar Wright, who has become a walking catalyst for controversy, Claressa's past isn't just complicated. It's allegedly dark, twisted, and deeply connected to people she never wanted mentioned. Sources say Jaguar didn't just open old wounds. She ripped them wide open, exposed nerves, and detonated emotional landmines that Claressa thought she had buried forever. But here's where everything takes a terrifying turn. Papoose, normally calm, controlled, strategic, heard what Jaguar said, and instead of brushing it off, he reportedly snapped behind the scenes. Insiders claim he had a heated exchange. Messages were sent, calls were made, and a line was officially crossed. And now, for the first time, we're learning exactly what Papoose said, what triggered him, and why these claims about Claressa's past relationship have set off alarms across the industry. Because what Jaguar accused, what she implied, what she suggested about Claressa and someone connected to Papoose's world, it wasn't just messy, it was dangerous. And according to leaked reports, the truth behind the reaction might be even darker than Jaguar's claims. Stay right where you are, because what happens next will flip this entire story upside down. From the outside, this entire situation looks like chaos sparked overnight, but anyone who's been paying attention knows this story has roots stretching years deep into old rivalries, buried secrets, and unresolved tensions that have been quietly simmering beneath the surface of the entertainment world. To understand why Papoose's reaction shook the industry, you have to understand the history of everyone involved, especially Jaguar Wright, Claressa Shields, and the complicated constellation of people in their orbits. Jaguar Wright has always walked into a room like a storm, loud, unpredictable, unfiltered, and carrying enough emotional voltage to electrify an entire conversation. For years, she's been known for dropping allegations the way other people drop casual opinions. Whether she's exposing alleged scandals, questioning people's authenticity, or dragging entire families into the spotlight, one thing about Jaguar is consistent. She does not back down. She speaks with the intensity of someone who believes she's seen things the public could never imagine. And whether people view her as a truth teller or a chaos engine, the impact is undeniable. And then there's Claressa Shields, the undefeated, unshakable, unstoppable force in women's boxing. A woman whose legacy has been built on discipline, resilience, and the kind of strength that doesn't crack under pressure, no matter how vicious or personal. From growing up in Flint to becoming one of the most dominant athletes of her generation, Claressa's journey has always been framed as a triumph over adversity. Every headline about her praises her confidence, her drive, her willingness to confront her critics head-on. But in the shadows of her success, rumors have always floated, quiet, unconfirmed whispers about old relationships, painful chapters, and people from her past who didn't want the spotlight but somehow stayed attached to her story. Claressa doesn't entertain gossip. She doesn't feed the rumor mill. She simply destroys anything in her path and moves forward, which is exactly why Jaguar's claims hit the public like a bomb. Because the person Jaguar allegedly connected to Claressa, the situation Jaguar implied happened, the dynamic she suggested existed behind closed doors, it wasn't light, it wasn't harmless. And it wasn't something Claressa could just ignore, because it involved someone tied, whether loosely or directly, to Papoose. And that's where the timeline of tension begins. For years, Papoose has been known as the solid one, the strategist, the protector, the undisputed pillar of loyalty in the hip-hop world. His reputation has always been that of a man who keeps things tight, handles business privately, never explodes publicly, and only steps into drama when absolutely necessary. So the idea of him even acknowledging Jaguar's accusations, much less reacting emotionally, was enough to get fans talking. But the deeper truth is that their lives have intersected more than the public ever realized. Industry insiders have whispered for years that certain gyms, certain studios, and certain friend circles overlapped between these worlds. Not enough to call it a friendship, but enough to create tension whenever personal stories drifted into mutual territories. And in the early days before this scandal, there were minor hints that something uncomfortable existed between the camps. A comment here, a reaction there, a stray tweet deleted minutes after posting. Nothing concrete, nothing verifiable. But enough to make followers of both Papoose and Claressa ask quiet questions in the corners of social media. Still, the tension remained contained, until Jaguar decided to blow the door off its hinges. She didn't just accuse Claressa of having a complicated past relationship. She implied that this relationship involved power dynamics, emotional manipulation, and lingering trauma that Claressa allegedly carried into her career. And more importantly, Jaguar hinted that the person at the center of this past, someone she claims had a deeper tie to Claressa than fans knew, was someone with industry proximity to Papoose. That single connection was all it took. Fans began speculating wildly. Names started circulating. Screenshots, real or fake, flooded group chats. Entire threads were dedicated to deciphering who Jaguar meant, what happened, and why she chose to reveal this now. Because Jaguar doesn't speak without motive. Even her critics admit that. She drops information like a grenade and then watches the explosion. But this time, the explosion hit a woman whose career was built on discipline and a man whose brand was built on composure. The first sign of trouble began with Claressa's silence. She didn't deny anything. She didn't address Jaguar. She didn't react in anger or fear or frustration. Instead, she went quiet, uncharacteristically quiet. And for someone like Claressa, whose confidence is a shield in itself, that silence felt like pressure building behind a wall. Meanwhile, Jaguar doubled down. She hinted she had messages. She implied she had interviews. She suggested she spoke with someone from Claressa's past who had unfinished business. And that was the moment Papoose stepped in. Not publicly, not through a tweet or Instagram story. According to insiders, he responded privately, directly, and with a heat that shocked even people who have known him for decades. They say he called people, sent voice notes, reached out to someone closely connected with Jaguar's circle. Some claim he warned Jaguar to stop. Others say he demanded to know who fed her the information. And a few believe he already knew, and that's why his reaction was so intense. Because the possibility that someone from his orbit, even distantly, had a past that could entangle Claressa in scandal. That someone had crossed paths with her in a way that Jaguar could weaponize. That was enough to ignite the firestorm we're seeing now. The deeper you look, the more obvious it becomes. This wasn't just another rumor. This wasn't just a messy claim. This was the resurrection of something Claressa hoped was gone, something Papoose feared could be twisted, and something Jaguar intended to expose regardless of the damage. And the industry knows when Jaguar smells blood, she doesn't stop until every layer is peeled open. But what no one expected was that her claims were only the first wave. Because what's about to come next, according to newly leaked reports, has the power to flip the entire narrative, destroy reputations, and force truths into daylight that were never meant to be seen. And Papoose's next move. It may have already changed everything. The real eruption began the moment Jaguar Wright decided she wasn't done talking. It wasn't enough to hint, imply, or tease the situation. She wanted to detonate it. And in true Jaguar fashion, she chose the loudest, messiest, most public stage to do it, a live stream. Thousands watched live, tens of thousands replayed it, and within minutes her claims became the #1 trending topic in multiple corners of social media. Her voice was sharp, her tone was confident, and her storytelling was alarmingly detailed. She leaned forward into the camera, eyes steady, and said she had information that would make Claressa Shields fans question everything they thought they knew about her. She claimed this wasn't hearsay, wasn't gossip, this was from someone who lived it. The entire chat froze. The comments exploded, and then she dropped the line that shifted the entire trajectory of the scandal. Let's talk about that man from her past, the one with connections, the one who thought he had control. The one tied into circles y'all would never expect. Instant chills fell across the internet, because that wasn't just a statement, that was a direction. People started digging instantly. Screenshots of old photos resurfaced. Threads about Claressa's past relationship history flooded timelines. Speculation spread like wildfire, and usernames began tagging Papoose, thousands of them, trying to force him into the narrative even before anything was confirmed. But behind the scenes, something far more explosive was happening. According to insiders who spoke exclusively under anonymity, Jaguar had received a set of alleged voice memos from someone claiming they had a personal history with Claressa. These recordings, whether real or manipulated, were detailed, emotional, and filled with accusations of jealousy, manipulation, and an uneven power dynamic that allegedly left Claressa traumatized and guarded. But here's where the twist comes in. In these same alleged recordings, the man claimed he had industry connections, particularly to someone respected, feared, and deeply rooted in hip-hop. Fans took that single description and ran with it, spinning theories pointing toward Papoose, not because of evidence, but because of the proximity of the drama and the way Jaguar framed her story. And when Jaguar accidentally allowed a small snippet of audio to play, barely 3 seconds, muffled and distorted, the internet collectively lost its mind. The voice didn't clearly resemble anyone known. But the energy, the tone, the manipulation implied, it fit the drama the internet wanted to believe. Claressa's camp went dead silent. Her team refused to comment. Her closest friends unfollowed several accounts that kept spreading the recordings. And then late at night, the first real shift happened. A message leaked into a private boxing group chat, allegedly from someone close to Claressa. It read, "She told y'all before, her past ain't pretty. But don't let that lady twist nothing. Someone's trying to drag her name attached to a dude who was never part of her life like that." Fans grabbed onto that line instantly. A dude who was never part of her life like that. It was clearly damage control, but it also showed panic, real, unfiltered panic. Then suddenly, Papoose himself became aware of what was happening. Not through social media, but through a phone call. Someone in his circle allegedly told him Jaguar was implicating him by association. The idea that his name could be dragged into relationship drama involving a world champion boxer, especially in connection to a possibly abusive or controlling storyline, was unacceptable. Multiple sources claim Papoose immediately reached out to someone mutual between him and Jaguar, demanding clarity. He wanted to know who was talking, what was being said, and why his world was being dragged into something with no basis in reality. But here's where things spiraled. Jaguar took his private reaction and used it as gasoline. During her next livestream, she smirked at the camera and said, "Oh, so now certain people are upset. Y'all nervous. Y'all worried I said too much." The internet lost its mind again. Suddenly, Papoose's attempt to distance himself was reframed as an admission of guilt. Hashtags exploded. Number Papoose involved, number Claressa, past number Jaguar exposed everything, number protect Claressa, even celebrities began reacting. One R&B singer tweeted, "If Jaguar talking, somebody shaking. She only touches the truth." A retired boxer commented under a gossip page, "Claressa went through hell growing up. I hope people ain't trying to use her trauma for clout." And all the while, Claressa remained absolutely silent, refusing to repost, respond, or acknowledge anything. Her silence was both haunting and deafening, which only fueled more speculation. But behind the scenes, she was fuming. According to an insider familiar with Claressa's mindset, she wasn't just upset, she was hurt. She felt violated. Someone from her past was feeding lies, exaggerations, or half-truths for attention. And Jaguar, someone she'd never met, was exploiting it for an audience. But the real shock came from Papoose, because someone close to him leaked a message, an alleged voice note he sent privately to a mutual friend. "Tell her stop playing with my name. I ain't never been around that girl in no personal capacity. If she keeps pushing this angle, I'm getting the lawyers involved. Enough is enough." That leak changed everything. Now the public knew Papoose was involved emotionally, even if indirectly. And the tone of his message wasn't calm. It was firm, irritated, and laced with the kind of tension that told fans he felt truly disrespected. Jaguar seized the opportunity. During yet another livestream, she said, "If he wasn't involved, why you mad? Why you calling around? Why you worried? People with clean hands don't panic." The comments erupted instantly. OSHE poking a bear, Papoose about to snap a far, claim must be real if he pressed. This just got dark, and that's when the first major twist hit. A rumor surfaced, one so shocking and unexpected that it sent the entire internet scrambling. A blog claimed they had court records from years ago involving someone with the same initials as Claressa's alleged past partner. The records suggested allegations of controlling behavior, jealousy issues, and a prior restraining order request. Fans connected dots that weren't meant to be connected. They linked names that weren't confirmed. They tied Papoose's world into a past that may not have belonged to him at all. Suddenly, the narrative was no longer. What did Jaguar say? It became, what is everyone trying to hide? Claressa was being painted as a survivor. Papoose was being framed as implicated by proximity. Jaguar was cast as the whistleblower. And then just when it looked like Claressa might finally break her silence, another bomb dropped. A fake screenshot began circulating, showing Claressa allegedly messaging someone, "I told him not to bring that man up. I can't go through that again." The screenshot was likely doctored, but the damage, instant, immediate, catastrophic. People believed it. The boxing world panicked. Fans demanded answers. Bloggers began tagging Claressa nonstop, and Papoose. He reportedly went into full damage control mode. A source close to him said, "He's frustrated because this ain't even about him, but they keep dragging him into it. He tried to handle it privately, now he's pissed." The tension was reaching a boiling point nobody could control, because Jaguar wasn't finished, because Claressa was being cornered, because Papoose was losing patience. And because the next revelation, the one nobody saw coming, would flip this entire situation on its head and expose a truth that would shock everyone watching. The scandal should have cooled down by now. In a normal situation, the public would have gotten bored, moved on, or found another celebrity to drag into the trending tab. But this wasn't normal, because Jaguar Wright refused to let the story die. and every hour that passed, she seemed to grow more confident, more theatrical, and more determined to expose something bigger than anyone originally expected. Her livestream numbers kept increasing, millions of views across platforms, thousands of comments begging for more details. People who didn't even know who Claressa Shields was suddenly became experts on her past. And fans who had followed Papoose for years began dissecting his every post, every lyric, every statement he ever made that could, if twisted just the right way, connect him to this unfolding mess. It was becoming clear. This wasn't just controversy, this was a narrative war, and Jaguar was winning. Her next livestream began with a chilling line: "See, the thing about secrets is they don't disappear. They just wait for the right person to speak them." The audience went silent. Then she dropped a new bomb, one that would change everything. She claimed she had a witness, not a random commenter, not a troll account, not someone clout chasing. She said this witness knew Claressa personally, knew her during the relationship era, and had details that would make the internet rethink who the real victim was. This wasn't just storytelling anymore. This was character assassination wrapped in suspense. And then Jaguar leaned forward, lowered her voice, and said, "This person told me the man from Claressa's past tried to control who she talked to, tried to control what she posted, tried to control her rise, and when she got bigger than him, it got ugly." The comments exploded instantly. And this time, Jaguar didn't hold back. She claimed the witness gave her messages, alleged screenshots showing emotional manipulation, jealousy-driven arguments, and lines that hinted at something far darker. But then, just when the internet thought the noise couldn't get louder, Jaguar connected the dots that set off a global meltdown. She said, "And this man, he was connected to the industry, connected to people who didn't want this getting out, connected to someone who allegedly once stepped in to protect him." She smirked. She didn't say Papoose's name. She didn't point at him directly. She didn't have to. The internet did the rest. Within minutes, social media spiraled into full-blown chaos. Threads with thousands of comments tried mapping out timelines, connecting Claressa's past relationships to anyone remotely tied to Papoose. People began revisiting old interviews, old photos, old events, trying to force puzzle pieces together that didn't belong. Then a shocking development hit. A boxing journalist claimed they had exclusive information about the man Jaguar referenced. They said he was a former trainer or coaching assistant who had occasionally crossed paths with hip-hop figures due to sponsorship events. Suddenly, this wasn't about Papoose at all. It was about someone in the orbit of Papoose's world. But that detail didn't calm the internet, it made it worse. Because now people weren't just blaming Papoose, they were asking why his circle overlapped with someone from Claressa's allegedly traumatic past. And while rumors raged online, Claressa finally reached her breaking point. At around 2:38 a.m., a tweet appeared from her account. "Y'all saying a bunch of lies about stuff that ain't real. Stop dragging my name into fake narratives." It was short, it was angry, but it wasn't calming. In fact, it added fuel, because people wanted a denial about the relationship. People wanted names, people wanted clarity. And her refusal to go deeper made fans think, she's hiding something, she's protecting someone, she's scared. The frenzy grew worse. Then, as if the internet was waiting for the perfect storm, a new leaked clip surfaced, a supposed recording of Claressa on a phone call crying, saying, "I can't go through that again, I left for a reason." Was the clip real? No one could confirm. Was it emotionally compelling? Absolutely. And in a world addicted to drama, believability becomes irrelevant when the story is good. This is where Papoose re-enters the picture and becomes the center of the storm once again. A widely followed gossip page claimed that someone had forwarded them a message allegedly from Papoose. "This woman, Jaguar, dragging my name into made-up trauma stories, needs to watch herself. I've stayed quiet long enough." The message wasn't verified, but it didn't matter. People believed it. Suddenly, Papoose was portrayed as a man on the edge, furious, ready to take legal action, but also someone who looked suspicious simply for reacting. Jaguar used that reaction like ammunition. During another livestream, she laughed, literally laughed, and said, "See, when men like that get defensive, you gotta wonder why. If your hand's clean, Papoose, why you calling folks? Why you mad?" The comments were instant. "Oh, she exposing HIM. SHE hit a nerve. He definitely knows something. This story got layers we don't even see yet." It was spiraling fast and nobody could stop it. Then, right when it seemed the narrative couldn't get any more twisted, the shocking reveal dropped. A former friend of Claressa's went live and said something nobody expected. Jaguar ain't lying about Claressa having a rough relationship. But the man wasn't who y'all think, and the connection to Papoose ain't what y'all think either. It's deeper than that. The entire internet froze. Deeper than that, what did that mean? People begged for details, but the friend refused to elaborate. She just said, "There's a reason Claressa ain't talking. There's a reason Papoose is reacting. There's a reason Jaguar knows what she knows. And trust me, somebody is scared right now." This wasn't just drama anymore, this was a mystery, layered with fear, secrecy, and unfinished business that all three parties seemed trapped inside. And because the internet thrives on unanswered questions, the story grew into something monstrous. What was the true relationship? Who was the man? Why was Jaguar so confident? Why was Claressa so silent? Why did Papoose react at all? What was being hidden? What was being protected? And then the final blow of the reveal landed, quietly, subtly, but with devastating impact. A leaked DM suggested that the man Jaguar referenced had once attended a private event hosted by Papoose's label years ago. The two weren't friends, but they were seen in the same space. That tiny overlap, it was all the internet needed. Fans now believed Jaguar's claim had some truth. They believed Papoose reacted out of fear of association. They believed Claressa stayed silent because of emotional wounds. Everything was speculation, but to the public, speculation had transformed into reality. And the biggest twist, Jaguar still hadn't revealed everything she claimed to know. She ended her livestream with a single haunting promise. If y'all think this is big, you wait until I drop the rest. This story ain't just about Claressa's past. It's about the people who had the power to stop it and didn't. The video cut off. The chat exploded, and the world waited, terrified and fascinated, for the next bomb to drop. The internet didn't just react, it erupted. Within minutes of Jaguar's latest livestream ending, every corner of social media transformed into a battleground. Fans, critics, bloggers, boxers, rappers, influencers, and even industry insiders who normally stay silent were suddenly voicing strong, emotionally charged opinions. The scandal had gone from a rumor to a wildfire to a cultural crisis where everyone demanded to know the truth. Hashtags surged to the top of trending lists. Number Claressa truth, number Papoose respond, number Jaguar exposed, number who is the man, number stop playing with trauma. Some users were furious, claiming the entire situation was unfair to Claressa, a woman who had fought her entire life to rise above adversity. Others insisted Jaguar was telling a deeper truth that people were too afraid to face. And then there were fans who believed everything and fans who believed nothing, creating the perfect storm of emotional confusion and digital chaos. Twitter was practically melting. Comments poured in like tidal waves. Jaguar ain't perfect, but she don't miss when she talks about abuse. Claressa deserves peace, not this circus. Why Papoose in it though? Something off, y'all accusing people with zero proof. Chill. Hold on, did that witness really know her? This is wild. And as the fan debates intensified, influencers began uploading reaction videos, each trying to outdramatize the next. Millions watched breakdowns titled, "The Claressa Mystery Explained, Jaguar Knows Too Much. Papoose's Silence is Loud," exposing the real man in her past. YouTube commentators dissected every second of every livestream. Pop culture podcasts rushed emergency episodes. Boxing analysts tried desperately to defend Claressa while admitting they didn't know what was true anymore. Meanwhile, the hip-hop community was completely split. Some rappers indirectly supported Papoose, posting messages like, "A real one always gets dragged when lies start flying. Pap been solid, don't play with him." But then other artists hinted that Jaguar might be right. Every rumor start from somewhere. Trauma ain't something to joke with. Even more shocking, two female rappers who admired Claressa publicly went off. "I don't like how they doing my sis. She worked hard for her piece. Folks using her pain for clout and I'm sick of it." Then came the industry insiders, anonymous accounts claiming to know the real story. One said, "Y'all think Jaguar lying. Half that stuff been whispered for years backstage." Another wrote, "Claressa kept quiet because she was protecting someone bigger than y'all know, that's all I'll say." Those cryptic comments made everything worse. Nothing was confirmed, everything was assumed. But the fear, the panic, the emotional intensity of the moment was enough to turn whispers into full-blown conspiracies. On Instagram, gossip pages turned every screenshot into viral gold. People zoomed in, analyzed timestamps, compared backgrounds, and even slowed down audio clips trying to identify voices. They didn't want truth, they wanted a narrative. Claressa's fans, also known as the Shield's Army, launched their own counterwar. They dragged Jaguar mercilessly. "She always lying. Stop projecting trauma on successful Black women." Claressa too strong to be manipulated by any man. But Jaguar's supporters clapped back. "Y'all worship celebrities too much. Sometimes the strongest women hide the biggest wounds. She don't need to lie, she telling the story no one else will." Even Claressa's old opponents jumped into the conversation. One fighter tweeted, "I never liked her attitude, but this drama ain't right. Leave her past alone." Another wrote, "I hope she stands tall. This could break some people." And then the boxing industry reacted. Promoters suddenly became jumpy. Sponsors quietly panicked behind closed doors. Networks asked her management if this would affect upcoming fights. Rumors swirled that one brand wanted to pause a promotional deal until the situation calmed down. A leaked email supposedly showed concern that Claressa's image was becoming too connected to unpredictable controversy. That email spread like wildfire and fans demanded answers. One user wrote, "So this drama might cost her money now? I'm disgusted." Another said, "This is how black women get punished for other people's lies." Even athletes from other sports stepped in. A WNBA star tweeted, "No woman should be dragged through the mud like this." Then a UFC fighter added, "Stop messing with Claressa before she knocks out the whole internet." TikTok was its own battlefield. Creators reenacted Jaguar's claims. Voice actors dramatized alleged messages. Conspiracy theorists built timelines. Edits of Claressa crying in old interviews went viral. One TikTok with 7 million views claimed, "There's something they all don't want us to know." But the most shocking reaction of all came from the general public. They weren't just consuming the story, they weren't just reacting, they were choosing sides. Some branded Jaguar a truth teller, the only one brave enough to spill the uncomfortable secrets celebrities hide. Others labeled her a villain, an agent of chaos trying to sabotage successful people for attention. Meanwhile, Claressa became a symbol, either a tragic survivor or a misunderstood target. And Papoose was caught in the crossfire, portrayed either as a protector or a man hiding something. Every few minutes, new evidence surfaced: old photos, vague tweets from 2014, a random clip of Papoose speaking on loyalty. People twisted everything into supporting whichever narrative they believed. But behind the noise, behind the emotional screaming match, the pressure on Claressa was becoming unbearable. Anonymous insiders claimed she was angry beyond words, on edge and ready to explode. Another insider said she had been on the phone with her team for hours, debating whether to release a statement or let the chaos burn itself out. But the real shock, someone deeply connected to Papoose allegedly told a reporter, "This situation is way bigger than y'all think. If the truth came out, it would shake multiple branches of the entertainment world." That line sent the internet into absolute hysteria. What truth? Whose truth? What was being protected? Who was scared of exposure? Suddenly, Jaguar's claims didn't seem random. They felt calculated. They felt connected to something bigger, something hidden, something with consequences that could ripple across celebrity culture. And just when fans thought the story had reached maximum intensity, just when they thought nothing more shocking could possibly happen, one final piece of information leaked. Something that would set up the most dramatic twist yet. A reportedly deleted comment from someone claiming to know Claressa personally said, "She ain't scared of Jaguar, she's scared of what this situation gonna force her to admit." That single sentence set the stage for the biggest twist of the entire scandal. Just when it felt like every angle had been explored, every rumor had been dissected, and every emotional crack in the scandal had been pushed to the limit, a chilling silence swept across the internet. People waited for Jaguar's next livestream, for Claressa's next tweet, for Papoose's next move, anything that could push the story into new territory. But instead of noise, everything went quiet, and that's when it happened. A new source emerged, someone the internet did not expect, someone who had stayed silent for years, someone who had been watching all of this unfold from the shadows. A former associate of the man Jaguar referenced, someone who claimed to know the truth Jaguar hadn't revealed yet, decided to speak. The account was anonymous, the post was long, and the tone was deadly serious. It began with, "Everybody has this story wrong. Jaguar only told half of what happened. The rest, y'all not ready for." Instant panic, instant curiosity. Instant chaos. The anonymous source went on to say that the man in Claressa's past wasn't just controlling. He was allegedly tied to bigger names, bigger circles, and bigger secrets than anyone online understood. They claimed the relationship didn't just affect her emotionally, it affected her career trajectory. Then came the twist, the one that shook the entire narrative to its core. According to the source, the man allegedly tried to sabotage Claressa during the early stages of her rise. Not physically, not publicly, but strategically. Whisper campaigns, manipulating people behind the scenes. Trying to make sure certain deals didn't go through unless he approved. It was a deeply toxic dynamic that Claressa eventually broke free from, but not without consequences. But here's the part that made the internet gasp. The source claimed that years later, someone in the hip-hop world, someone respected, connected, and powerful, unknowingly helped that same man secure an opportunity. They said it wasn't intentional. They said it wasn't malicious. They said it wasn't Papoose's fault, but the association was real. The man from Claressa's past allegedly crossed paths with Papoose's world in a way that neither Papoose nor Claressa ever wanted to acknowledge. It wasn't personal. It wasn't deep, it wasn't meaningful, but it existed, and that was enough for Jaguar to twist the story into something explosive. The anonymous source wrote, "Pap never had nothing to do with the dude." But once he realized who it was, that's why he reacted. Not guilty, not scared, just mad she brought his name into it. This revelation flipped everything upside down. Fans didn't know what to believe anymore. Was Jaguar exposing something real? Was she mixing half-truths with lies? Was Papoose furious because he felt falsely implicated? Was Claressa silent because she didn't want to relive old trauma? Then the source dropped one final bomb. There is one detail Jaguar hasn't said yet, and when she says it, the whole story going to change. Claressa knows, Pap knows, the man knows. That's why everybody acting nervous. The internet lost it. What detail, what secret, what truth could possibly be bigger than what had already been said? People began spinning theories faster than wildfire. Some believed the unnamed man had a deeper tie to the industry than anyone suspected. Others believed he had dirt on multiple people. A few claimed that Claressa's silence wasn't fear, it was strategy, waiting for the right moment to strike back. But the scariest theory, the one that spread like lightning, that Jaguar wasn't exposing Claressa. She was exposing the man and the network around him, a network that might involve more names, more histories, more women, more untold stories. And Papoose unwillingly was caught in the crosshairs of a story bigger than him. Just when the internet couldn't spiral any further, Jaguar posted a cryptic message: Part 2 drops tomorrow. And I'm naming NAMES, panic, shock, anticipation. The entire digital world went into countdown mode. Celebrities began deleting tweets. Influencers went live to make predictions. Gossip blogs prepared breaking news templates. People stayed awake, refreshing their feeds. Even Claressa's team reportedly held an emergency late-night meeting. One insider claimed, she's ready to fight back. If Jaguar names that man, Claressa's gonna expose everything. Another insider said. Papoose is preparing a statement. He tired of being dragged into this mess. And then word leaked, Jaguar's next livestream wasn't just another rant. She allegedly had documents. She allegedly had screenshots. She allegedly had testimony. Real or fake didn't matter. The belief that she had something was enough to terrify everyone. And now the world is waiting for Jaguar to reveal the hidden detail, waiting for Claressa to defend herself, waiting for Papoose to protect his name, waiting for the next explosion. Because this story is nowhere near finished. The biggest twist hasn't been revealed yet. The deepest secret hasn't come out yet. The most dangerous name hasn't been spoken yet. And when Jaguar Wright goes live again, the entire internet will be watching, shaking, and preparing for the fallout. And now the entire world is standing on the edge of a cliff, waiting for the next explosion. Jaguar Wright has promised to drop names. Claressa is gearing up for a fight. Papoose is preparing to defend his reputation. And the anonymous insiders, they're hinting that the darkest part of this story hasn't even surfaced yet. Everything you just heard, everything you think you understand, might flip on its head the moment Jaguar hits go live. So now I need you, the viewers, to weigh in before the next chapter breaks loose. Because this isn't just gossip anymore. This is a full-blown cultural moment, and your voice is part of the conversation whether you realize it or not. Do you believe Jaguar actually has the documents she claims to hold? Is Claressa hiding the truth to protect herself or protecting someone else? And most importantly, why did Papoose react with so much intensity if he had nothing to do with the man from her past? Drop your theories in the comments now. Don't wait until the next reveal blows this story wide open. Tell us whose side you're on. Tell us what twist you think is coming next. Tell us which part of this saga shocked you the most. Your comments don't just help the channel, they help shape the entire discussion happening across the internet right now. If you want part 2, if you want live updates the moment Jaguar speaks again, if you want the unfiltered truth the second it drops, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe with notifications on, and share this video with anyone who's been watching this chaos unfold. Trust me, you do not want to miss what comes next, because this story, this scandal, this emotional hurricane of secrets, accusations, and hidden connections, it's only just beginning. And when the next bombshell drops, you're going to want to be right here with us, watching it unfold in real time. Stay ready, stay locked in, and get ready for the next chapter in this unbelievable saga.